But what are your thoughts on VR, AR, mixed reality? Do you see us all living in some kind of digital world in a couple of years? You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think AR VR will. I think the uptake of that is coming very, very soon. We'll see it in our public realm. We'll see it in culture. There's an extension. You know, obviously you've got esports and the games industry. So I think it's a kind of very live and exciting thing development thing to happen. It's definitely like an emerging technology that will probably land sooner than most. On the metaverse, which is a kind of, you know, it's interesting when you talk to people about the metaverse and talk to people about augmented or virtual reality. Sort of like some people like exactly the same thing. You know, as with anything, definitions in this area are quite fluid.
Yeah.
I mean, on the metaverse in relation to cities, I was recently over in Barcelona Smart City Expo, and South Korea have been making quite a big play around the metaverse and government. So they created virtual town halls. They've created services like Metaverse in the Metaverse, and they brand it Metaverse. And that's really interesting. And then I kind of look at the nature of it and think, okay, is that something that one wants to replicate elsewhere? And undoubtedly, I think there are benefits of having virtual walkthroughs and interactivity in public services. I think it helps people with certain health conditions and can be extremely interactive. But a large part of what the South Korean model was about gamification and tokenization. It was kind of like a social contract thing. Yeah. You do a bit of recycling, you get X number of, you know, tokens, and you can use those tokens at a shop in order to get 10% off something or get something. Now, let's set aside the metaverse and think about that social contract model, because that's the thing that lies behind their approach to a smart city. And that's something that they've kind of democratically decided to do and is, you know, and is right in the context of that city being deployed. I don't think that model necessarily is something that we here would follow.
We're too stubborn British people.
It may well be that. It may well be that we want to have a much more discrete incentivization for us to do things, rather than having a full model within one platform where you might feel that, you know, someone knows that you've done recycling and you've done this and you've done that, and it's all part of a wider kind of package for you as a citizen. I don't think that sits very well with us, and so I would just kind of go back, you know, and I was talking to someone who's classified smart cities across the globe, and he's sort of classified a kind of South Korea, China model, Singapore model as a sort of safe smart city model, where you have very much a social contract based approach. You've got kind of European GDPR, so kind of purpose-led approaches. So more like a smart city would look more like a collection of use cases rather than something that's, you know, connected in one big, you know, sort of harvesting platform. And then you'd have a kind of an American model, which you see cities often do quite big deals with particular tech firms and such like that. So I think you're beginning to see a kind of differentiation between sort of continents on how they're approaching smart cities. And so that kind of metaverse thing very much spoke to me as part of this kind of social contract tokenization model, which I don't think necessarily flies here.